catch you're gonna go. Yeah, but Loki's always been... That's the thing about Loki. If you look at the original, like, look at the stories of Loki, even at the beginning, he's both. He has a good side and a bad side. Like, he is not just a hero or an anti-hero or a villain. He's all of them. It depends on the situation. And he's a very human, as with most trickster gods, he is a very human god in that way. So if you're going to do an anti-hero, like, villain style movie, Loki is one of, like, the best characters you could choose to do that with. Aw, Twitch, come on! Loki is, we focused Loki's attention on us. Yeah, well, he was such a popular character, I feel like they had to, Crowley. They would have been just, like, throwing money overboard if they had screwed up their Loki franchise. But yeah, any of the trickster gods are great fodder for that. Because they just naturally fall... I mean, there's a reason it's an archetype. They naturally fall into embodying the best and worst of humanity. And they're unpredictable, just like people. And they tend to be rather selfish, just like people. So yeah, they're good. I mean, there's a reason everybody loves, like, Loki and Coyote and, you know, various trickster gods in various mythos. Monkey in China, the monkey god. There's a lot of them. But yeah, when it comes down to it, if you read... I think Neil Gaiman does a good job of this in his Norse mythology, because he's essentially retelling the ancient Norse myths in a slightly more modern voice. But he's sticking to them. But you can really see how Loki is, like, both good and bad. He's both. He's all of the above. Depends on the situation. He does and says all the stuff we wish we could do and see, but it tends to be our inside voice. Do and say, sorry. But he can also be a real jerk. But yeah, I love trickster gods. I've been tempted to write a trickster god story for a while. So I'm just going back and forth between my slightly warmer highlight and my slightly colder highlight to fashion something that I like out of this. And we're almost there. Man, it's taken a long time to do this. Loki is a very common name for cats. For a reason. Do a little bit of highlight under here. A little bit of highlight under there. A little bit of highlight down here. We're getting there. I just need a little bit more lining. Yeah, I wanted it fading out in energy, Twistedoma. Yeah. I think my brother's cat was also named that. Hey, Casual Painter, sup? Welcome, thank you for the raid. I've been, like, thinking that I was going to finish this Mousling today, and I still haven't done the little buckles on this side, and then promptly having to repaint this when I realized my color was wrong for this bronze. Refresh, Kandakari. Thanks, Casual Painter. It's part of a set. They're Mouslings. Gene Van Horn sculpts them for Reaper. So this is... there was a piece of art for ReaperCon this year that was a human guard with a wraith versus a wraith on a bridge in a city. And so Gene did a Mousling version of it. So it's a mouse wraith with a Mousling guard. And it's ReaperCon Mousling. It was from this year. And I think they're still available. But the mouse wraith is like just a fantastic model. Alright, I think we're almost there on this one. And then I can do the little buckley things on this side, which aren't as prominent. And then we can move on. You guys have any particular color you would like for Mousy Girl? Any particular, like, she's got a long tunic on, really. She's got the long tunic, she's got armor, she's got boots. So the only colors, really, will be her tunic. That's going to be a main color of the mini, plus whatever her hair is. Yellow and red. That's kind of what I was leaning toward, Inara, was giving her blonde hair and a red tunic. If I did the base, Agent Marvel, what I would do is make it very neutral, but where the Wraith is, I would spread out that cold energy all around it, and where the Mousling Guard is, I would use the lantern to cast a warm circle around. So essentially the neutral of the base would put them, you know, against each other, but I would have that lighting effect, warm versus cold, around each model. So then you use the neutral to tie them together. Thanks, Flowcell. I've been painting for a very, very long time. Very, very, very. And I paint a lot. So when you do that, and you do it a lot for a while, you get good. This is like more like the Reaper Gallery style I used to do for my miniatures, but I also have my own stream on Saturdays, although my parents are here this Saturday, so I won't be doing it. But for my own stream, I tend to do cool things like, you know, bigger stuff like this dragon bust with Crystal Dragon. So that's more like what I tend to do for myself. Right. Well, in this case, it doesn't. Because Agent Marvel, because the point of this piece for me was to contrast cold versus warm. That was the plan from the beginning. But when I asked for color suggestions, it's because warm doesn't necessarily always mean reds and yellows. You could go with a blue and make it very warm, and it could work. But nope, it's not. It's just a Crystal Dragon bust from My Mini Factory 3D print flow cell. They may have based it on a Crystal Dragon, but there's more than one Crystal Dragon out there. So I don't know if it's an Ice Dragon or a Crystal Dragon. I painted it in that teal color because that's just the color I wanted to make it. But I actually don't, I do not grok League of Legends, so I'm an Overwatch fan. And Overwatch was my first kind of like first-person combat game. All right, I think we've got the sword done. Now we just need to focus on these buckles. But yeah, so I don't know. The person who sculpted that, the 3D sculpt, may have been influenced by League of Legends. If it looks particularly like a monster from that. It depends on what you're setting up to do, Agent Marvel. It depends on the story. Like, how you do the basing is entirely dependent on what your story is and what you're trying to portray. With me, I knew I wanted cold versus warm energy, because you've obviously got a lighting effect with a glowing undead, and you've got another obvious lighting effect with that lantern. So that made sense, warm versus cold. But for a different diorama, I wouldn't be doing that at all. I might choose something that unifies the space instead. So it depends. There is no hard and fast rule here except what is your story. for a diorama. And for diorama, you should always be asking that first and foremost anyways. What is the story I'm telling? What is the smallest amount of space I can tell it in? And do I need to unify these models or push them apart? That's pretty cool, though, if you can figure out why cars don't start. I have no idea. I have no mechanical knowledge. All I can do is YouTube. Alright, so let's get this little buckle. And I think I've got a little tiny piece here. These are kind of buried behind the shoulder pads, so I can't really get to them. I can get the buckle and I can get this lower clasp. Old spark plugs, yeah. But yeah, we all spend a lot of time on something, and I've spent a lot of time on painting. It is my main job now. Paint and painting were my main job for many years. And now, just as much so, although I don't make the paint line anymore. That has been passed on to others. A little tiny touch of white up there that got a little bit out of control, so I'm going to grab a little bit of my yellow and pull that out a little bit. There. Oh yeah, have fun, Kari. Good luck with your highlighting. Remember, Zenith priming can help. Yeah, certainly, like, painting, as far as judging good, bad, ugly, is very subjective. You're right. The car either works or it doesn't. Whether the model works or not is subject to your opinion. Alright, I need a little bit of extra highlight down here on the bottom of this little buckle. Just bring that out, visible, there it is. Now we're going to get this little clasp here. I'm actually using my warmer colors for this because these things are so tiny. So the warm color actually works better than going for the cold color I created. That's everybody everywhere, Flosel. Every hobby there ever was, somebody took a stand about something and said something else was bad. Painting is the same way. Like, I'm a weirdo in that I use a well palette, one with actual, like, wells. Most people these days use a wet palette and consider it superior, and there are plenty of people telling you why you should be using a wet palette instead of a well. I'm the opposite. I'm the lone voice in the wilderness crying for the well palette to not be passed over. But yeah, I mean, people love their hobbies and their businesses. They love what they do, and they champion the way they do it. And it's just natural. There is no one way of doing anything in life, but that's not what they would have you think. Yep, that's it. Walking Harder has it correctly. Preach it. Try everything, see what works best for you, and then do that. Don't pay attention to what other people are doing. Unless you want to experiment with something, then experiment. But if it doesn't work, go back to what you were doing. You do just highlight this little rivet, book, and then book. And we lost a little bit. There we go, it's a little better. Now I need to... I believe you, Flowcell. Hey there, Zachariah. So, yeah, we pretty much have finished it. I'm just futzing around with these little buckle thing. I thought I was going to get a lot closer to finish, but he's all done except for obviously when we eventually base him, and as at least he will be once I finish this last tiny little bit. Although I don't know what I'm going to do with like 10 minutes on this model. Maybe figure out a fur color. So for those on my Patreon, I should have the priming video up today. And then we'll make the last video, pinning, we'll put that up for public on the YouTube. I highly recommend both the green work, the using green stuff, and the pinning videos that I did. I think they really turned out well. It's rare when I say that about a video, but there are just some videos I feel like they nail it, and I'm very happy with the way both of those turned out. So if you're not a patron, just go looking for Painting Big on YouTube. And did we lose a Quindy again? Flowcell, I don't anymore. I used to sell on eBay. I do very, very infrequently. I haven't for like a year, I think. I need to fix that. But I do occasionally offer them on my Patreon. If you're a patron, you get a heads up, and we just do a public auction when I have a figure that I want to sell. But these days I've been so busy because I've also been writing and publishing my own novels. So I haven't had time to work on a lot of painting in my off time. So I've not had anything for sale for a while. Priorities. So really the Patreon is the only place that I offer anything for sale anymore, and I do it very infrequently. I also used to do commissions. I no longer do that, except for I have like one batch of commissions that are still hanging around for one client. And then I'm done. No more commissions for me. Oh, Quindy's got a week off. Okay. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Kuro. The reason I asked is that I noticed that my socials weren't being spammed. Usually Quindy throws the socials button on there. But I forgot that you were a mod now. I could request that, Kuro. I could request Kuro to spam the mods. I don't remember what the command is, though. But yeah, these days my painting, I try to do a lot more painting for myself because I can afford to. My Patreon is my main income, and I make a little bit off of Twitch, and I still make a little bit for doing this stream for Reaper, and all together it keeps me going. So I'm my own boss now, which is nice. So I try to avoid things that are just going to put a lot of pressure or stress on me. So I only paint in my off time when I feel like it. Also, one of our chat people, our frequent chat people, D. Clearman, printed a 3D building for me that I was really salivating after. So I think we're going to be doing, finally, on my Patreon, we'll be doing something on terrain. John is still here doing the heavy lifting. Good, good. But yeah, so we'll finally, I'm planning to, first of all, this thing is a freaking puzzle. There's like so many pieces. So I'll do something on like individual just surfaces and textures on terrain, like probably just fast stuff. And then how to kind of enhance them with using like flocking and basing materials. That's okay, Reaper, it's okay. So there's my stuff. Yay, there's my stuff, guys. Okay, quick, quick. So yeah. So there is the Patreon, there is the everything. Yeah, no problem, John. You've got stuff to do. Here's my YouTube. If you don't know, go over and follow me. I'm almost, I think I'm getting close to 1,000 followers, actually, on my channel. So I'm like, yay! So that's pretty cool. $1,000 followers is pretty awesome. Gotta make everything. Yeah, it's a little bit too much. I'm kind of just fussing with this. Yeah, that's good. That's okay. Hi, Kiki. We have a doglet visitor. Hi, doglet. Do you want to come up and say hi? Okay, let's have a Kiki visitation then. All right, are you ready? Okay. Oh, those are primer cans. Oh, do I have to move them? Are they sus? They're very sus. Kiki does not want to come up on my lap when there are sus primer cans. All right, primer cans are off. Yay, Giant Dingo! Giant Dingo visitation activated. Hi, Giant Dingo. Hi, Giant Dingo. Hi. Who's my Giant Dingo? You are. You are. You're my Giant Dingo. Hi. Hello. Oh, somebody wants a hug. I'm getting a hug right now, guys. This is the hug. She's leaning against me. Hi, hugging dog. Hi, hugging dog. Hi. What a good girl. Oh, there's that sticky spot, Papa. Why do you have a sticky fur? We just gave you a bath. We just gave you a bath. Yeah, I need to cut that out. Yeah, I do need to cut that out of your fur. I wonder if you'll let me do it right now. Whoop! Nope, that's too scary. Sorry, Bubba. She's got something sticky, probably a piece of food. Oh, you're a good girl. There it is. Yeah. Okay, you can come up. Yeah, you can come back up. She's like, oh, maybe. All right. There we go. Yep, I'm gonna have to. Yeah, well, that was, and it wasn't the scissors. If I already would have had the scissors out, I could have cut that spot out of her fur. I'm just gonna get it out for tomorrow. That way she'll let me do it. But yeah, the drawer suddenly coming out, that was like, whoop. Good, Agent Marvel. Good, good, good. Yes, they're out there just to help people who are starting out in the hobby. All right, is that okay? I think I'm okay with that. I think I'm okay with that. A little darker on that side, but it should be. I feel like I need a little bit more there. She's a funny dog, she is. This morning she was like, rub my belly. And I'm like, she does that every morning. So I rubbed her belly and I stood up and went, okay, let's get you breakfast. And she looked at me and she's like, rub my belly again. It was very funny. Usually she just gets up when I'm like, let's get your breakfast. But today was like, rub my belly again. He's a funny, funny dog. So funny. Oh. Just putzing around because I don't want to start something new, so I'm like just refining this little hilt until I'm happy, or cross guard until I'm happy with it. Okay, are we good overall? Oh, we were going to do just a little bit of rustiness, weren't we? Let's do a little bit of rust up at the top of this little armor on his back. We're going to use Oxide Red, because guess what? That's rust color, guys. Oxide Red, we're going to mix it a little bit of brown liner in it with it to get it a little bit darker for the first layer. Then we're going to use it straight. Then we're going to highlight it with Sunrise Orange. Rust can be quite bright, so sometimes I'll add a little bit of Oxide Red to my bright orange just to make it a little bit more real feeling. But orange does tend to be pretty saturated color, or rust, sorry, really bright rust. There. All right. So we're just putting little traces because we don't want a lot. We've got a lot of spirit energy stuff going on back here. So, and rust is going to make it feel like it's more solid. Just don't want to go too crazy. Just like little bits. I'm going to start with a really kind of a dark reddish brown. This is red oxide mixed with a bit of brown liner. I'm going to go straight to red oxide. I'm going to use a stippling stroke to have it be irregular. Oh yeah, Yorkies are bitsy bitsy. And then we'll use our orange and we'll just put a couple of spots in the point where the moisture would build up the most. Usually that's going to be corners. So just a little bit of rust hint there. Terriers are feisty. That is probably the single most valid word to describe terrier breeds in general. I believe small rat catching dogs used to be termed feists, thus why it fits terriers so well. There we go. So a little bit of rust. Just a tiny bit. I don't want very much because it's very warm and that's not my real goal for this model. But you just want to make sure you put a couple of spots out. Like so. Just little hints. It's red oxide, which is actually rust. It's oxidized iron. Iron oxide. So this is rust. Like in paint terms, this mineral composition equals rust. That's why it works well for rust. Brown oxide, red oxide, yellow oxide all tend to work well. If you really want a good orange for rust, mix red oxide and yellow oxide and you'll be great. But like people don't realize it's super easy to paint rust colors because some of the pigments we use are directly based on them. Yeah, red oxide is a color you do not want to be caught without. Every pure pigment set out there that wants to have everything you need has a red oxide. There we go. That's what we want. It just gives us a little bit. We can also do a little bit under the shoulder pad. And then that should see us to the end of stream. So let's just do a little bit. And you don't want to do just a line of it. You want to speckle and break it up. I hear Kiki chewing her bone out in the other room. She's like, fine, if you're going to be boring. I'm going to finally chew my chew that you gave me this morning that I ignored. I'm glad we did this. It's been a while since we did a phantom or ghost of any sort. And they do have their own challenges and ways of doing things. Try to make your bright orange smaller area than your oxide. There we go. There we go. Alrighty. Get mousy. Yeah, so that gives a little bit of warmth to him, but that's kind of cool in a way, so makes him a more well-rounded mousy. Pretty cool, guys. Pretty cool model. I like that he has a minimal base, so it'll be easy to blend him in to whatever I choose to do if we do a combo base for these guys. Alrighty, so next time, tomorrow, we are back to the mermaid. We were working on her gold, we got her beer mug kind of blocked in, we got a lot of stuff blocked in last time. So she's looking pretty cool. We need to just start highlighting and refining all the things that we did. I'll probably do more on the wood, pick out the gold bits because I want to get this area kind of done. We may do more rust on the anchor. We may separate the rope strands. Pretty much you guys know. You could just come and I'll work on whatever we're working on. So that's tomorrow. However, next time we come around to this model, we'll be doing probably a fur and hair color on Ms. Mousling. Alrighty. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. I hope you had a good one. I hope you are having a decent week. We are on Tuesday. The weekend will be here soon enough, I promise. Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I will see you tomorrow. All right, John, thanks for running the stream for us today. I really appreciate it. Kuroniko, thank you for watching chat, too. Alrighty? Alrighty. Oh no, hashtag free Crowley. Bye-bye.